Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to episode 152 of the FAB and Fearless Business Booster Short Show. My name is Yinka. I am a business strategist, a speaker, a coach, and an incoming author. And I support women to create wealth in and through their businesses by helping them to focus on what matters most for the business, which is cash flow and strategy, and what matters most for the business owner, which is mindset and habit. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this 152nd episode of the Business Booster Shot Show, where each week at 1:30 p.m. UK time on a Wednesday, I come to you with a short, sharp shot to boost both you and your business with one powerful truth and one actionable tip. And if you can see and hear me over on my LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube socials, feel free to jump into the chat and say hello. We are talking about cash flow and the power of your no today. And so, in order to make sure that I am not just talking to myself, let me know that you can see and hear me. Jump into the comments, say hello, and we can get started. I will also double check and see that the tech is doing what I intend for it to do, and I will then rock and roll on today's topic, which is cash flow and the power of your no. So I can see that I am live over on my LinkedIn. Yes, I can see my LinkedIn. It's always very exciting when your face pops up on your phone, which is fabulous and great to see. I can actually see people in the chat, but I can't see the chat isn't coming through in this particular moment. I'm not 100% sure why, but the tech does what it does. So let me just check over on Facebook that we are indeed live. Yes, I can see myself over on Facebook too. And then I will, even if I'm not immediately live over on YouTube, I will check in on that later. So, ladies and gents, how are you doing today? Feel free to jump in to the chat and let me know scores on the doors on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, oh my gosh, Yinka, things could not be any worse. 10 being, Yinka, things are awesome and could not be any better. Let me know how you are doing today. I always like to know how you are, how things are as people come in, because it is absolutely my intention and focus to ensure that we ratchet up those scores in the little time that we have together today. I will probably have to check that on my phone because I'm not seeing any comments coming in, but I'm hoping that you are indeed well and you are having a great day. For me, I would say I'm probably at a strong 7 today. Very, very grateful for a few things that are coming up and a few opportunities. And so really excited for all that is to come. And so let's talk about the power of your no when it comes to cash flow. See, the fact is that cash flow is an incredibly powerful indicator. And it's an indicator of so many things. I say this often in my spaces that cash flow is the fruit of the tree. So it is not the root of the tree, but it absolutely tells you what is going on at the roots. And just in the same way that you would look at a tree and you would see that it grows apples and you will therefore discover and know that it is an apple tree, your cash flow is a really powerful indicator of all that is going on in the root places. And so definitely it is an opportunity to really see what is really going on, but B, it's a really powerful indicator of how good you are at saying no. Last week, we spoke about the truth about people pleasing. If you haven't seen that episode yet, feel free to jump on any of my social profiles. LinkedIn will have it there as its own event 7 days ago, and Facebook and YouTube have them stacked as the previous episode. So we talked last week about the perils and the truth about people pleasing. And what we are really clear about is how much people pleasing, apart from it being a trauma response, really kind of living into survival mechanisms, and a form of manipulation. What one thing we also know is how energy leaking it is, and how frustrating it is for the people pleaser to create and to do other things when they are spending so much of their time and energy people pleasing. And so I just in as much as the power of your yes is transformative, and I really really want to stand that for you. I really want you to be super clear about how powerful your yes is. When it comes to your cash flow, I also want you to be clear and supercharged and understand how powerful your no is. So your no has so much power when it comes to your cash flow. And no works in a number of different ways when it comes to different departments, agencies, however you like to describe them, when it comes to the cash flow journey. And so I'm going to share 4 of them with you today. It's not often I bring my notebook to the Booster Shot show, but I wanted to make sure that I really share these insights with you today. And I just want to shout out Jackie Raymond, because Jackie Raymond is so on the ball and super fly when it comes to the notes in the Booster Shot show. So, but I know she is traveling with her beautiful family. Jackie, we send you love and hope that you are well and all is well as you travel. But yeah, I want to really talk about the 4 kind of spaces as we think about cash flow and the power of your no in each of those spaces. Now, the first thing to say is that we really do think powerfully about, for example, our to-do lists, what we need to do. And that's important because fortune favors the bold, and the bold are those who have a disposition to taking action. I was recently listening to a speaker share the story of W. Clement Stone. W. Clement Stone was a very good friend of the famed author Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is probably a name that you have heard of if you have heard of the book Think and Grow Rich. And W. Clement Stone was Napoleon Hill's one of his really good friends. And the wild thing about the story between the two of them is Napoleon Hill wrote the book, but legend has it, and the story goes, that he actually died pretty poor. Imagine writing a book about thinking and growing rich and then actually dying poor. But W. Clement Stone is much less famous, and apparently he died incredibly wealthy. And the reason why the reason why W. Clement Stone is famed as and reported as being so successful and really creating the wealth that Napoleon Hill had highlighted in his own book was W. Clement Stone had a motto, and it was a motto that he lived by, that he focused on and continued in day after day after day. He repeated this motto over 100 times a day, everywhere in his life, in his business. And it was very simply, do it now. Do it now. Whenever he had something, whenever he was making a decision, he was predisposed to taking action. If we're going to do it, let's do it now. Let's not delay. Let's not procrastinate. Let's not overthink it. No, we don't run around acting like a fool and just doing anything. It is about strategic and powerful action, but it is about action. And one thing that I can say for sure in my own story and in the work that I see and experience with my clients is how powerful a predisposition to action is. So saying yes, getting on with stuff is magic. And there is also power. So there is power in the to-do list, but there's also power in the not to-do list. The not to-do list is the stuff that needs to come off the table. It needs to come out of the equation. It needs to not distract you. It needs to it needs to be the stuff that you are not doing. Now, obviously, I say obviously, but let me roll back on that obviously, because it may indeed not be obvious. The thing is that the brain doesn't negate. So if I said to you, don't think about a pink elephant now, if you are a person who imagines in images, some people do, some people don't. But if you are, then a pink elephant is now traipsing across your mindscape. And that's because your brain doesn't negate. Hello, Gertrude. Already lovely to see you. Amazing lady. Thank you so much. Yours is the first comment that has come through on the tech. So I don't know what the glitch was before, but I am incredibly grateful to have you in the room today. Thank you for dropping me that comment. Please keep the comments coming. If you're watching me, I can see people are watching me and I can see you're not commenting, or I can't see your comments coming through, but please keep trying. It's always great to have that interaction. So, yes, I was saying that having a to-do list is great, but having a not to-do list is even more powerful. It helps us to get clear about what is not available, what you are not available for, what things are not about. And so when it comes to cash flow, I wanted to share a little bit about the power that your no has when it comes to the different activities and focuses of cash flow. So when it comes to making cash, the things that you need to say no to more than anything else, number one is an employee mindset. Yesterday, in my post on LinkedIn, if you are watching me on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to traipse over to LinkedIn. My name is the same. So it is very powerful and gives you an opportunity. I shared some really key insights about the hallmarks of an employee mindset. And I shared really, really clearly that the fastest way to kill your entrepreneurial dreams is to try and make them come true with an employee mindset. And there are so many features of an employee mindset that literally transform for the worse your entrepreneurial experience. So some of those hallmarks or some of the signs that I shared were things like waiting for permission, for validation, following processes religiously, constantly waiting for certainty rather than creating it, coming from a fixed income paradigm, thinking that income is fixed and it has to be the way that it is. And I shared that these are things that make you probably excellent as an employee, and these are ways of thinking and beliefs that you are going to have to break up with if you are going to succeed as an entrepreneur. And I was very clear, and I'm clear now, that this is not the intention is not to villainize employment. Employment is a very important part of the world that we live in, and not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. However, it is important that you have the right tools for the job that you are in. And so when you are an employee, you need an employee mindset. When you are an entrepreneur, you need an entrepreneurial mindset. When you want to run a business, you need to get into that mindset. And it's about making sure that you have the right tool for the right job. And so the power of your no is really important when it comes to making cash, because you need to say no to waiting, no to delaying, no to waiting for permission. And I think there were 8 or 9 things I put in the list yesterday. Feel free to go check out that post. It is sitting on my LinkedIn as we speak. So that's the first thing you need to say no to when it comes to making cash. The other thing, though, and the even more powerful thing you need to say no to when it comes to making cash, is disempowering others. I've had such a brilliant conversation with the ladies in my top level mastermind this week. We've been talking about money. Obviously, the work that I do focuses on cash flow. But it's really important that we are clear that the people that we want to work with are sovereign and empowered and can make decisions for themselves. What that means, therefore, is that they are not coming to you to be rescued. It is really important that you do not take on a rescuer role when you are seeking to contract and work with people. And what that means is we take on rescuer roles in so many different ways. But some of the most common ways that we take on rescuer roles, number one, underpricing. Oh, well, I can't possibly put my prices up because they won't be able to afford it. And I really want you to hear me say it so that you can hear it away from your own thinking and your own mind. How many times, ladies and gents, drop in the chat and let me know if this resonates with you. If you have had an offer that you wanted to price and put out in the marketplace and you changed the price, or you lowered the price, or you were like, I'm not really able to charge what I want to charge because they're not going to be able to afford it. I've seen this happen so many times. In fact, if I got a pound for every time I saw it happen, I would probably be a millionaire by now, in cash, in the bank. And the fact is that it is something that happens on an ongoing basis because you are seeing the people that you work with as disempowered. Now, the fact is, number one, you don't know what's in people's bank accounts. So I don't know why you are counting the money in their imaginary bank account. You don't know. And it isn't your job to know. Your job is to stack the value. Your job is to discern the values of the people you want to work with. Your job is to create incredible value in your offer. And your job is to learn how to communicate the value of your offer properly. That's your job. Your job is not to act like you know what is in people's bank accounts and lives and situations and then change what you are doing accordingly. So I say respectfully, about full South London and full chested, mind your business. Mind your business. Because underpricing your offers, that's not you minding your business. And that is you putting yourself in a position of rescuer to people who, I don't know, may or may not need you to rescue them. But even if they do need you to rescue them, actually, that isn't the role when you are contracting with people unless they are buying your rescuing services. Now, I don't know about you. Now, let me take a step back here. I don't know about you, but I don't have rescuing services. And if you do have rescuing services, as a service provider, unless you are literally search and rescue, I would advise against having rescuer services. And that's the thing. Whether you underprice, whether you offer for free, it still has exactly the same effect. You acting as putting on your cape and putting your underpants over your trousers, flying in to save people who don't need rescuing. They're adults. They've done many adult things. I don't want to get crude, but they've done many adult things without you holding their hand. And the truth when it comes to money is people find and get incredibly inventive and creative to find the money for the things that they want. We've seen it time and time again. People say, I can't possibly afford this. And then something over there becomes available that's more expensive than the other thing, or higher price than the thing over there. And they found the money for that. Why did they find the money for that and not for this? And the answer is because they didn't want this. They wanted that. So mind your business and let them mind theirs. And so when it comes to money, it's about no to disempowering others. It's about no to underpricing. It's no to that employee mindset, that waiting for someone to do. As entrepreneurs, rule number one is we are solutions makers. We wrangle solutions. We make things happen. If that isn't, that's the assignment. So if you don't understand the assignment or you're not about that assignment, then I suggest you go get a different assignment. But the power of your no here will transform very quickly. I've seen it so many times. I've seen women come to me who are the best at what they do. I really, really, absolutely hand on heart see that and believe that. And we don't change what's in the offer. We literally change things like how they're talking about it and how they price it. And then it goes off into the stratosphere. You have to really understand the power of your no when it comes to making cash. When it comes to managing cash and managing that cash flow, the no that you need to say here is a no to over-indexing. Now, what this means is when I say the word cash flow, everybody, even I had to teach my AI assistants about this myself. But the minute you say the word cash flow, the initial thought and the immediate thoughts are cash flow management, is financial, and is I focus on feeling very good and very excited about that particular aspect of the cash flow journey. Now, cash flow management is incredibly powerful. But if you were to look at the literature and you were even to look at across the interwebs and AI, they would have you believe that that's the only thing that matters. Oh, you need to understand how to manage cash. Oh, that's all you need. And I just want to let you know, in all seriousness, it absolutely isn't. You need way more than that. Thinking that cash flow management is gonna sort you out, is gonna fix your problems, and you can budget your way to wealth, is a fallacy. It is incredibly important to have the skills, but it is important to understand that they are part of the story, not the whole book. And so, no to over indexing is really important, because the people who are good at cash flow management are often incredibly proud of their knowledge of cash flow management, but many of them actually don't have wealth. And given that cash flow is a building block to wealth, if you were excellent at cash flow management and you do not have wealth, then what does that tell us? It tells us that there's more to the story. And so I really want to encourage you to think about things a bit more broadly when it comes to cash flow management. You absolutely need the skills. You need to understand how to forecast. You need to understand, and again, forecasting is so fun because it is literally it's the most elementary of all the types of maths that you can really get involved in. And so the beautiful thing about that is it gives you the opportunity to you see what's coming in, see what's going out. That's brilliant. But the fact is that cash flow forecasting is fantastic, and it's your cash flow making skills that makes the forecast route true or false. It's your cash flow spending or investing skills, and again, I'll talk about that in a second, that makes it true or false. So please do not think for a second that because you've got, you're excellent at cash flow management, that you have this cash flow thing sorted. Absolutely not, because that isn't how it works. And so the know that you really want to understand the power of here is not getting so caught up in the story that you miss the essential knowledge that you need. So when it comes to multiplying that cash, the no I want you to really think about is saying no to the traditional ways of thinking about risk. One of the biggest loss makers, opportunity costs when it comes to women and money and wealth creation is their attitudes to risk. Now, the reason I say this and I know this, apart from the fact that I do have a finance background, I was an investment banker for a number of years, worked for the UK's biggest taxpayer. The less said about that, the better. But what I do know is that in the research that I've done and I'm doing in the writing of my book and the psychology around women and money, we know that there is higher social penalty when women make what looks like mistakes or bad decisions when it comes to money. So when a man, starts a business and it fails, we the social language around that is, oh, either he was unlucky or it was poor, whatever. But oh, he will do better. He'll get back on his feet. It was unfortunate. Whereas when a woman starts a business and it goes under, the language is she was ridiculous. I don't know why she thought she could do that. The language is much harsher, and women have imbibed this in every society. Women have imbibed this. And so because the social penalty has been higher, women are like, well, I don't want tall poppy syndrome, like the one that puts their hand up gets knocked down. So I'm going to stay small. I'm going to stay small. That's what you have to say no to, the overwhelming historical, social, structural urge, energetic urge to stay small. And the thing, when I say stay small, play small, I should say, I want you to understand that big moves, mighty moves, actually are a function of tiny compounded actions. The big results that we see in this world rarely ever come because one person did one big jazz hands thing. No. What tends to happen is they found a small thing that was powerful and they compounded the hell out of that. And it's why I believe it's Warren Buffett who said that compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. And so we need to say no to those traditional paradigms and thinking around risk, because not taking risk, not knowing how to assess risk, not knowing how to manage risk, and not knowing how to emotionally stabilize ourselves when we take risk, sees us not taking the risks that we should. And the one powerful truth I want you to take away from everything I'm saying today is a reminder that if you don't risk anything, you risk everything. Risk is a part of life. It isn't going away. But if you don't risk anything, you risk everything. Why? Because you will stay where you are when everything else is moving forward. And I don't want that for you, which is why I'm here and sharing this with you. I am totally out of time, and I only got to share 3 out of the 4 points that I had to share with you today. But I really hope that has been helpful for you. If you want to find out what that 4th point was going to be, feel free to drop the number 4 in the comments or slide into my DMs wherever you are watching this, and I will be happy to share that 4th point with you. But my one actionable tip for you today is to go and look at where you have been saying yes to something you should be saying no to. When it comes to creating cash, are you showing employee mindset signs? Are you disempowering people, underpricing, doing things for free, not getting organized, acting as if you're an employee, trying to run a business? Are you saying yes to that when you should be saying no? When it comes to managing your cash flow, are you really dialed into how important it is and how amazing it is and really ignoring the other parts? And when it comes to multiplying your cash flow, are you locked into fear and locked into a risk aversion that is ultimately keeping you stuck? That's your actionable tip. Let me know how you get on and what you discover. As I said, there was one more point. Maybe I'll come back and share it next week. But in the meantime, feel free, if you want to know what that tip is, drop the number 4 in the comment section and I will share that with you privately. And in the meantime, take care. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you to the fabulous ladies I can see in the chat. Hi, Asmara. I believe that's Sharon or Sonia. I'm not 100% sure because you're coming up as LinkedIn user. But thank you so much. The tech really teched today. Thank you, Gertrude. Appreciate you. Joan, ladies and gents, I look forward to seeing you in the spaces. Take care. Have a good one. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.